basic plan is this. Every morning and afternoon for 4 days, I'll feed an unfamiliar, nutritious food. Because the heifers will get good nutritional feedback from the foods, they will learn to like them. Because of their good experiences, they will start to expect that everything I bring them will be good to eat, so they'll try new foods more readily. Since my first challenge was just to get the cows to come to the feed tubs, I decided to start with a food they might recognize. The heifers had eaten dried ear corn over the winter, so I fed rolled corn the first day, luring them down with a grain bag and a little trail of corn to the tubs. The heifers learned so rapidly that by that afternoon they came when they saw me.
On, heifers!
For the morning of the 4th day, I fed the heifers hay cubes. Of course, the flavor and smell were familiar, but the size and shape made it harder for them to eat it. In preparation for feeding diffuse snapweed, I wanted the heifers to have some practice eating things that took a little more time. What I was seeing at this point was cows excited about coming for food, that eat well, and that clean their plates. So I decided to start on diffuse snapweed for the afternoon feeding. At this stage, the plant is very stemmy with very few leaves. The only parts that seem potentially edible are the buds and flowers, so I focused on gathering those parts of the plant.
Then what I did is I put it in there, sprayed it with molasses, coated it with the red bran, put in a little bit of barley.
Typically, the first time I feed weeds, there is a lot more milling about, and these heifers were no exception. And, as usual, not all of the weeds were eaten immediately.
They left everything. Oh, but a bunch were eaten out of that one. That's good. Okay, I think some were eaten out of that one. Definitely.
On Saturday, my husband joined me to cut weeds, so there was a lot more to feed the heifers, and they were as excited as ever to be fed. They also ate a lot more of the weed than they had the day before. For their 3rd day on knapweed, we gave it to them plain. The cows didn't eat a lot, mostly pulling it out of the buckets and throwing it on the ground. The cows ate the leftover knapweed on the morning of the 7th day, so I decided to feed knapweed once more. The results were just what I hoped for. On the 8th day, the cows rested while we built fence for the pasture trials. Our trial pasture was a little over 2 acres, It included grasses, mullein, musk thistle, a variety of forbs, and several large diffuse snapweed patches. On the morning of the 9th day, I went to see if they were eating knapweed. They came right over to show me.
Here she's doing it.
This is what it looked like for 3 days in the trial pasture. The cows seemed to enjoy the knapweed just as much as they did the grass in the pasture. On the last day in the trial pasture, Rob Alexander and Leo and Babe Hogan came by to check on the heifer's progress.
So what do you think?
This is pretty nasty
That
stuff
surprised me
at this
the way
stage.
It's down right there. That's unbelievable. I can't get over what they're eating.
So the way it turned out, they did eat it, and they ate it in a pasture setting when we put them into 40 acres instead of 5 acres.
The cows didn't eat every single bud and blossom, but they made some good progress, as shown by these pictures.
So I was tickled.